Emmerdale aired a heartbreaking moment for Jacob Sugden as he finally revealed the truth about the torment he has been facing from Dr Caitlin Todd to his wife Sarah. During the latest episode, Dr Todd crossed paths with Jacob while he was out walking with baby Layla in the village. She quickly took the chance to mock him again, sarcastically asking whether he was enjoying his time off. After Jacob explained that he was currently on paternity leave, Dr. Todd cruelly remarked that his colleague Richard had been thriving while he was away from work. Later at the Woolpack, Dr. Todd turned her attention to Sarah and hinted that Jacob was eager to return to the hospital. She commented that Sarah was a very understanding wife and added that she personally wouldn't be so supportive. Clearly upset, Sarah immediately confronted Jacob after learning from someone else that he was keen to go back to work. When Jacob asked who had spoken to her, he quickly realized Dr. Todd was responsible and rushed to the pub to confront his boss. He stopped her outside the toilets and warned her not to involve his family in their issues. When Dr. Todd attempted to brush off the conversation, Jacob followed her inside and accused her of being a bully. Dr. Todd then provoked him further by implying that he disliked women, especially female authority figures. Frustrated and angry, Jacob shouted that he didn't hate women, he only hated her, just as Vanessa walked into the bathroom. Dr. Todd appeared pleased, making it obvious she had intentionally manipulated the situation so Jacob would be caught yelling at her. Vanessa immediately ordered him to leave and checked whether Dr. Todd was all right, while she dismissed Jacob as an overwhelmed new father. She told Vanessa that young families often struggle, leading Vanessa to praise her and say Jacob was fortunate to have someone like her as a boss. Later at the shop, Vanessa scolded Jacob over his behavior and even claimed his late mother Layla would have been disappointed in him. Jacob tried to explain that Dr. Todd had been lying to Sarah, but Vanessa refused to believe his side of the story. When Sarah arrived carrying baby Layla, she noticed Jacob was deeply distressed and pressed him for answers. Although hesitant at first, Jacob eventually burst into tears and confessed that Dr. Todd had been bullying him. The pair then shared an emotional and honest discussion, with Sarah devastated as Jacob described the mental abuse he had been enduring at work. Jacob admitted that despite desperately wanting to become a doctor, Dr. Todd had made him fear going into the hospital. He explained that he could barely sleep and constantly felt exhausted and sick with anxiety, always expecting her to target him again. Breaking down completely, Jacob confessed that he no longer recognized himself anymore. Sarah comforted him, reminding him that he was her husband and the father of their baby, promising they would face the situation together and reassuring him that she would support him every step of the way. There could finally be hope for Jacob Gallagher in Emmerdale after he opened up to someone new about the nightmare he has been facing because of Dr. Caitlin Todd. The manipulative surgeon returned to the village earlier this year and has spent weeks making Jacob's life miserable, despite him having no idea why she has targeted him so intensely. Things became even more difficult for Jacob once Caitlin moved in with Vanessa Woodfield. Since then, she has deliberately tried to make it seem as though Jacob is fixated on her, leaving both Vanessa and Manpreet increasingly worried about his behavior. Dr. Todd's influence grew even stronger after Charity Dingle's baby arrived, as she discovered the truth that Jacob and Sarah Sugden are not actually the child's biological parents. Rather than treating the secret carefully, she viewed it as valuable information she could exploit for her own gain. In the latest episode, Dr. Todd stirred up more trouble by hinting to Sarah that Jacob was desperate to return to work after his paternity leave. Sarah was hurt by the comment and immediately confronted her husband about it. Furious over the interference, Jacob tracked Dr. Todd down at the pub and accused her of lying to Sarah. However, the situation quickly escalated when Dr. Todd headed into the toilets and Jacob followed after her. Without realizing it, Jacob had walked straight into a trap. During the heated confrontation, he admitted how much he hated Todd, just as Vanessa entered and overheard the argument. Emotionally drained and struggling to defend himself, Jacob later faced criticism from Vanessa at the shop. She told him that his late mother Layla would be ashamed to see the way he was acting towards a female boss. Sarah overheard the conversation and became desperate to understand what had really been happening. Unable to hold everything in any longer, Jacob finally broke down and confessed the truth about the abuse and intimidation he had been suffering from Dr. Todd. Sarah comforted her devastated husband and promised that she would stand by him and help him through the ordeal. Now that Jacob finally has someone on his side, the big question is whether he and Sarah can work together to expose Dr. Todd and finally bring an end to her cruel behavior. According to village insiders, the ordeal Bear suffered at the farm continues to haunt him deeply, with certain words and situations instantly dragging him back to the trauma he endured. Unfortunately for Bear, Jai Sharma's strict management style unintentionally makes things even harder. Trying to move on from the past, Bear begins his first shift at the depot alongside Mandy Dingle, who is also struggling after rumours surrounding Paddy's involvement in murder badly affected business at her salon. Her new role at the depot raises questions about whether she has been forced to step away from the salon completely. Wanting to motivate his employees, Jai introduces a new productivity chart to spark competition between the workers. Bear throws himself into the challenge and proudly comes out on top during his first day. But his confidence quickly disappears when Jai unknowingly says something that reminds Bear of the terrifying punishments connected to his time on Celia's farm. Bear pushes himself so hard because fear still controls him, with memories of the abuse leaving him terrified of making mistakes or facing discipline again. The sudden flashback sends him into a downward spiral emotionally. As his anxiety worsens, Bear lashes out at both Mandy and Kerry Pollard. However, the pair soon begin to understand the seriousness of his trauma after seeing him physically recoil and cower when Jai raises his voice. Concerned that Bear may struggle to adapt to ordinary working life again, Mandy and Kerry decide to speak privately with Jai and explain what Bear has been through. Once Jai realizes the full extent of Bear's emotional scars, he softens his attitude and becomes far more supportive. The workers at the depot rally around Bear, determined to help him recover and feel safe again. Jai reassures him that the depot is nothing like Celia's farm and promises he does not need to live in fear there. The question now is whether Bear can truly leave his horrific past behind and finally begin healing from the trauma he suffered. Emmerdale viewers were left furious after the latest dramatic scenes involving Dr. Todd and Jacob, with many fans disturbed by the doctor's manipulative behaviour. Recent spoilers had already teased that Dr. Todd would once again target Jacob, this time dragging Vanessa Woodfield into the situation as part of her cruel scheme. The episode also marked a major turning point for Jacob, who finally opened up to his wife, Sarah Sugden, about the emotional torment he has been suffering for weeks. During the episode, Todd continued to taunt Jacob before deliberately causing more trouble by misleading Sarah about him. She hinted that Jacob was eager to return to work because he wanted a break from caring for their baby daughter Layla, leaving Sarah upset and confused. Sarah later confronted Jacob over the comments she believed he had made, while Jacob became increasingly angry over Todd's interference in his personal life. The situation escalated at the Woolpack when Jacob angrily confronted Todd in the corridor, warning her to stop lying to his wife. However, events quickly spiraled when Todd walked away and Jacob followed her into the women's toilets, seemingly playing directly into her plan to make him appear threatening once again. Emmerdale continues on weekday evenings at 8 p.m. on ITV1 and is also available to stream on ITVX.